Hey guys, Sid Leon here, your not so typical Indian in the US. This time I have my good friend Hannah here with me on this podcast, and she has graciously accepted to be on this podcast, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And just can you just briefly talk about yourself and how long have you known each other for? Just like briefly tell about yourself.
Yeah, we met about a month or so ago, a month or two.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm Hannah. I study philosophy and I work a lot. Other than that, I just like to live life day by day and enjoy all that it has to offer. I love live music, hiking, stuff like that.
Love it. So yeah, this is a dating podcast. So let's talk about your experience on dating to start off with. Like, what aspects of your dating experience did you like, did not like? What attracted you towards the men you dated, and what caused the eventual breakup? Just give it a whole rundown.
Yeah. So I think a lot of my experiences with dating, probably the positive and negative aspects of it, are not just particular to me, but are indicative of larger social issues.
Okay.
So I'll probably be preaching to the choir here on a lot of these things. Um, I guess a lot of it has been, marked by this disposable culture that I feel like we're in, where it feels like there's always another option, and people are really just looking for the next thing, and there's not a lot of long term commitment. So that's been one thing that sort of characterized all of my relationships, I think, is not feeling like there's this reciprocal desire to construct a life together. And if someone does have that desire, they don't really act on it. Their actions don't necessarily reflect what they say. So, oh, I want to build this life with you, but not being able to put in effort to, pursue something like that. So that, means maintaining yourself, maintaining your career, and maintaining your relationship with someone and having open communication with them. What caused the downfall? Or I guess first I should say what made me attracted to people.
Yeah.
I'm notoriously like a no type kind of girl. People are like, what's your type? But I love a good personality, and that comes in many different styles of person.
Tall, dark, handsome.
All over the spectrum. I've dated all different types, plenty of different types of people. Because what will usually catch me is if someone who's very interested in something, someone who has something that they care about a lot. That has usually been what brings me in. So that could be, an academic thing or a hobby, whatever it is. If someone cares a lot about something, to me that's always been like a green flag. Unfortunately, that only goes so far, as I've come to learn over the years of dating. And different relationships have had different downfalls. Most notably, I've been cheated on a lot. And aside from that, there's been, moving to different areas, like sort of natural breaks that make sense, where it's like, if you're going to school here, I'm going to school here, we're not going to be together.
True.
And then also, more unfortunately, just like people having problems that they don't resolve within themselves and not taking care of themselves. And after many attempts to say, hey, please take care of yourself,
you're like, I had enough.
and it starts to wear me down. If someone isn't taking care of themselves, I'm a very self-motivated person. I care a lot about taking care of myself and cultivating good relationships with people in my life and constructing a good future. And if you're actively sort of sabotaging yourself, I don't like to be around that. So I have to cut things off at that point.
That's fair. Understand that. But okay, I feel like these things you discover like maybe after a month or 2 months max, right? With guys, right? Or maybe weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But not at the start, right?
No, not at the start. And sometimes it takes longer.
Yeah, okay, long problem. But I'm like, what does this guy behave like that makes you like, oh, he might be worth something? Like, how does he behave? Like, how does he approach you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think not being overly desperate is one thing that I like. But at the same time, knowing how to balance between that and showing that you're interested. So that probably sounds like, oh, how are you supposed to achieve that balance? And it's not, going to be a one size fits all thing. It's probably going to be dependent on people and communication styles. But having a degree of confidence and being able to approach someone without getting defensive if they say they're busy. This happens to me a lot because I'm such a busy person that if I say I'm working, people sometimes get really offended if you're unable to see them or something. But If they're, a new person in your life and you're just starting to talk to them, they should have the self-confidence and the awareness that, this person's life does not revolve around me. And if I want me to be a very important part of their life, I should show them that, I'm a steady, stable person and I won't be angry if they're busy. But yeah, confidence, I guess, good sense of humor.
How much does the looks matter? Looks and fitness.
I mean, it matters for sure. See, once again, I'm coming back with this whole no types because I'm trying to think what would be the consistent characteristics of people I've dated, and that's actually really hard to come up with.
No, I understand that. I'm not
but attraction is it's an important factor for sure. Yeah, definitely. And I will also say too though that even if you don't feel like you're the most conventionally attractive person, there are some things that go a long way. Even if you feel like you weren't given the best hand in the genetic lottery, if you take care of yourself with your health and your hygiene, and I don't know, try different styles of clothes, see what works for you, find stuff that fits you appropriately, just caring a little bit about your presentation.
So it's about the appearance and not the looks.
That's a good distinction. Yeah, you would say looks is more the what you're born with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Appearance is this. Yes. Got yes. It.
So hypothetical scenario. Let's say a man who is super confident. He approaches you. Hey, how you doing? But he's big belly, smells, bad hygiene. Would you say get out of my sight?
In a polite way, yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah.
So here's the thing, man. Notice this. What she just said. These are the two aspects of masculinity that I mentioned in my previous videos: fitness and confidence. Money comes later, but the first, does she know that you are a man worth something? If you have the confidence and you have the fitness to back it up, and you have the proper dressing sense, it's all a component of your appearance. So that's what I tell my previous videos. Go check them out if you have a chance. These two things matter the most. And the money aspect, which I also talk about, it does matter, but not at the very beginning because obviously she has no idea how much you make, right? But odds are, if you dress well, good outfits cost a lot more money than the cheap ones, right? So odds are, if you dress well, if you are fit enough, you are probably making good money as well. So all these three things are interconnected. You cannot have one without the other. So here's what you have just noticed, when we talk about game and getting women, it is not just the women aspect. It is a combination of all these three things put together. Now, clearly, those relationships didn't work out because of, go ahead,
a variety of problems.
Okay. Was money one of them?
Money has been one of them.
There you go.
Yeah, money has been one of them. People not taking care of themselves, substance abuse problems really has been, as I'm getting older, that's becoming more and more of a problem. When I was younger, not so much, but
how old are you again?
I'm 25. Yeah.
Don't say that. Just kidding.
What? Oh, I don't care. People say never ask a woman her age. I really don't care.
Fair enough.
Maybe when I'm older, I'll have a different opinion on that.
Maybe 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, as I've gotten older, that has been more of an issue, and I think that's also just a sign of the times. I don't know. I think that's unique to now. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's always been a problem, but right now it feels like that's very common. Mm-hmm. Is people who don't have a healthy relationship with substances, and I can, I'm very sympathetic to people's struggles, what they go through, and I'm not the type of person to just walk away from someone when things get tough. I'm very much so the type that wants to work on something, maybe to a fault. And that's why I've been in a series of not so great relationships. And, things are good for a long time with people. And then, something will just wear you down to a point where you can't do it anymore. And, with those things like that, it's I will, be there for someone and try to be understanding about their substance issues. And over time, there's only so much you can do to tell someone that you care about them and you love them and you want them to help themselves. Mm-hmm. Someone needs to want to help themselves, internally. You can't force that on them. And I think that, is across the board. And it becomes a sort of just, turn off, when I see that someone does not realize that they're not in a good place and they need to take care of themselves, I feel like that will translate across a lot of problems in life, not just, the I don't know, it's like a microcosm of a larger issue. But then cheating is that's a whole separate problem. I don't know. Yeah.
Cheating is a whole. We're not discussing.
That's a different topic.
Yes. So, so from what I'm hearing is your past has been riddled with men who basically don't take care of themselves and they don't make enough to forget about supporting you, supporting themselves, right? Probably. And and right now, why you prefer the single life over most men who are incompetent these days? So because of your dating past, you probably think that most men today are actual bums. So it's better to for me to take care of myself independently. So as of now, no relationships, right?
No.
Yeah. So that's the thing. However, this is the one question I want to ask you. If hypothetically you meet someone who has enough resources to take care of both of you, like you completely and himself as well, like somebody you have probably never have met in your past ever, and he wants you completely and utterly, what would you do? And he has all this check things you want as well, like confidence, fitness, and money as well. So what would you say to that?
I mean, so there's so much that has to do with like chemistry and how you get along with someone in person. And if interests align and we have similar values, that's something that I care about a lot. If all of those things were in place and like we just have this hypothetical of this like perfect built
person,
like
yes.
build a man
Yes, yes,
creature,
exactly.
then I would probably I don't know probably get into a relationship with them. I'm really enjoying taking care of myself right now and being single, but maybe part of that is because the alternative does not seem so great.
Yes, exactly. Like the single life is better than being with somebody who's incompetent, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I can guarantee that I make every day as good as I can, and I make myself happy, and I work hard, and I earn the things I want, and get to do the things I want without someone bringing me down.
Yes. Yeah. So that's been your person. Somebody has always dragged you down, not lifted you up.
Yeah,
Which is what a man is supposed to do, man. You're not supposed to be with a woman just to drag her down. You're supposed to lift her up. You are her hero. You have been given that privilege, that responsibility, that authority. Do not squander it. If you somehow end up getting a woman of her caliber and you don't make enough, like what are you doing? Like it's just ridiculous. It's just mind-boggling to me these days that there are men out there who think that getting a woman is as easy as going to a club, getting her some drinks, making sure she's drunk, bringing her home, hooking up, and having her commit to you because she was drunk. She never knew what kind of a loser you were, right? Because and then she thinks you are the shag because you have great sex skills probably. But does that never works in a consistent long-term relationship? Please realize that, and you will never attract a quality woman like Hannah if you end up like doing if you end up like just going this route and not worry about your fitness and your financial status. Don't believe, and this is what she also said at the very beginning. Society is giving us this misconstrued message that everything should be 50-50. How do you expect a woman to spiritually and emotionally support you when you also expect her to work? It's just not possible. Supporting your child, supporting you emotionally and spiritually takes work. She needs to look good for you. She needs to like be in your arms. Like so you need to make sure she can do that and not tell her that she should do that by herself. That is just unfair. So please realize this. Do not believe in the 50-50 concept the society is telling you. A true, happy, long lasting relationship will always be a man taking care of a woman completely and utterly financially, and she's supporting her spiritually and emotionally, everything. So, this is the key to a long lasting, happy relationship. And society has just today misconstrued this whole message and they just want everyone to be this certain way, which does not work. You know why it does not work? Because attraction is biological. It is doesn't care about what society thinks is the norm. As a man, you're attracted to a woman because that's your biological urge. As a woman, she's attracted to a man of a certain stature because of her biological instinct, not what society tells you. Please understand this concept. Right. Anything want to add?
No, I think you kind of covered it.
There you go. All right. So I want to talk more about having friends as women. Like if you are a man and you have platonic female friends, like here's how it goes. I feel it is completely and utterly pointless to have platonic female friends. Here's why. Because the woman gets all the benefits of having some boyfriend energy. Like if you're walking down the street, wanna go to a restaurant, hotel, there's a thug who comes by and grabs her purse. Who does she turn to? Police or the guy who's her platonic friend? The guy who's a friend, right? So you have to go chase her. Chase the guy who's like stole her purse, right? You have to go chase the guy. In return, you don't even get her spiritual and emotional essence. Like, how is that fair? Because a platonic male friend is still expected to have some form of boyfriend energy. However, a platonic female friend is not expected to have any form of girlfriend energy. That is not fair because because it's not men and women do not have these urges like based on society. It is all biological. So biologically, a woman loves a man who is there for her, who listens to her, who runs after thugs for her, all that. As a man, you love a woman who cuddles with you, who also, if you want, you gives you sex, and is there for you when you need her, smiling, hugs you, all that. You probably won't get even any of this if she's just a platonic female friend. And also on the other side, this is what women like Hannah see when there are like when men try to be their platonic friends. She sees that she knows this. And I'll let her talk in a bit. She knows this because she has seen this. Like what happens is the guys just want to get like hook up, and they pretend to be her friend for a long time in the hopes of getting it someday. Maybe someday when she's drunk, maybe someday when she is not in the right mind. They have this hope, but that never happens because first thing, that's not the right way. Second thing, Hannah is a very quality girl, and I know she won't drink out of control, right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Now you can speak on this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my mom told me this concept when I was pretty young.
Mhm.
And I did not really want to believe it. And of course, there are still, parts of me that I'm like, I don't want to think that. But I'm not in the head of a male. I don't know the headspace. So I can't say for certain. And, many times I want to say my mom is, oh, she doesn't know, but she knows from experience what she's saying whenever she says stuff like this. And, she warned me when I was, I don't know, starting to grow up. And she said that, men are just kind of always, that's in the back of their mind, even if that's not how they're approaching you. And that's never been how the basis of your friendship has been. Just be aware that there's always this like background motive. And even if like that's not why they pursue being your friend, there's always like a hope there. Or like if given the opportunity, they would. And she's like, that's just something to know, to keep in mind. And I didn't want to believe it, but I think she's right. And one sort of like version of this that I think speaks to it, but it's not the exact same phenomenon, is, and I just thought of this when you were talking, and I started like chuckling to myself a little bit because there, whenever a guy approaches you in public and is kind of coming off strong and like too much and trying to get your number and all of this, and that's a whole separate topic of how to go about that. But let's just, assume that they're doing it the wrong way. I've had so many instances where I say, no, I'm not interested, or, they seem okay, and then they start texting me and they're immediately like trying to hook up, and that was never what the basis of the interaction was supposed to be. Then there's this phrase that I think a lot of women would say, they've heard this. They say, why can't we just be friends? Oh, can I just be your friend? Let me be your friend. And I'm like, wait, so you're just doing the friend thing as a placeholder until you can get the thing that you want. So that's funny because I hadn't thought about it in terms of what you're saying. But now I think that sort of like gives credence to what my mom said even more, and I don't want to believe it. But yeah, that's always really frustrating to me because it's like you don't want to be my friend. You want friends with benefits. That's what you want. Yeah. You just want the benefits. Like you don't even really want to be my friend. You probably don't care about what I'm doing.
Yes. And yeah, so if this is for all the women out there who have so-called platonic male friends, they are not your platonic male friends. They do want to get in your pants, and they're just pretending to be your friend. So one day they can do that. And it might sound unbelievable, or you don't want to believe this, but it is just how it is. Yeah. Just because this is how men are made. Our primary urge I tell you, I'm like this. Primary urge is hooking up. That's just how men are, And there's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to be like disgusted by your male friends. No, that's fine. They're just normal men. As long as they treat you correctly, as long as they, are there for you when you need them, as long as they, take care of you in a certain way, like a man is supposed to. Might not even be a boyfriend. That's fine. As long as they do something for you, take care of you in a certain way, then I don't see what's wrong with friends with benefits, honestly. Because that way, you really have no expectations of relationships now. If you want it, sure, you can talk about it, fine, no problem. But when you start up, you don't have these expectations, and you both parties are getting what they want. So I'm like, why is this not normalized? I don't understand this. Why do we look down in disgust on men who act as platonic friends in the hope of getting sex? Why do we look down as hookups as something disgusting? And this is just something normal that needs to be normalized. So we need to really think about this. A man always wants a woman to fulfill his biological impulse, and a woman wants a man for his masculine traits, which would be being there for her, maybe paying for her dinner, helping her with her bills, and paying, and then making sure she's safe at all times. Very important. She needs to feel safe with you at all times. That includes chasing after thugs who grab her purse. And we are in Philadelphia, so that could very well happen. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Whenever I commute around, and it's very nice. Like there are some people in my neighborhood, for instance, where there's my neighborhood spot that I'll go to, and if it's late at night, I live like 3 blocks from this place, but there are some men there that are like, "Let me make sure you get home safe," and like they'll that I appreciate so much. Like just knowing there are people there in my community that like women there that I'm hanging out with, they're not gonna be able to provide that safety. So that's no, it's always really sweet because there's only so much I can do with pepper sprays.
Yeah. Don't run another one. So yeah, essentially, I'm just gonna say that normalized friends with benefit, that's completely acceptable, and it doesn't really have to be a relation. We don't need to be platonic friends or relationship with a white or black. We can be great, no problem. Like I'll give an example of me a month ago. I had this like date with some girl who I knew from studying I shouldn't go on because she was a single mom with a kid, and I was like, might as well. I should have done that, but yeah, I did. And the day didn't go well at all. I didn't like it. She didn't like it, and then I was about to text her that, hey, nice seeing you, but we probably should meet again. But yeah, see ya. And then she actually told me something even worse. She told me that let's just be platonic friends, and I'm like, that's insulting. That's insulting as a man. You think I'm not man enough, huh? Most men will take this as an insult. If you had instead said, I don't feel the connection, I don't, I would be like, fine, no problem, and leave it at that. But worse is, let's be platonic friends. Mm-hmm. And I told her, not doing that, sorry. I'm not going to be your friend ever.
Yeah, that sort of implies like a hierarchy already of like men I interact with. Like, okay, I met you thinking you were gonna be in like relationship level, and then I decided no. So I'm gonna say that you're this one. That's
and the funny thing is, most other men would say yes to it in the hopes of getting in our pants.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, I'll just be your friend.
Yeah, sure. I'm such a nice little puppy. Yeah, I'll be your platonic friend. Can I do this? Can I do this? You'll never get this, man. If you do like this, you're never gonna get anything. Have standards, place a value on yourself, and do not let anyone disrespect you. And a component of that is also you not getting what you want or expect.
I'm curious about something you said before we move on to another topic. You mentioned how friends with benefits is kind of like shamed or demonized in society today. And I was just wondering if there was more you had to say about that, because I think that's an interesting concept. And I would agree. And I also think that it should not be seen in such a negative light, especially as you're trying to figure out like what you want in a partner. Like this is a very open communication style way of having these beneficial relationships with somebody as you're moving towards potentially dating more seriously. And if there's everyone's on the same page, no one's being deceived, no one's being hurt, no one's being lied to. I don't know. What do you think is it just like puritanical sort of like stuff in culture where it's like, oh, you should only have sex for procreation or something? Like, what do you think is the reason?
that the society like looks down on this as
Yeah,
selfishness.
yeah.
This is the same idea that is that like going on in this world that every person should act a certain way. Like every man today, basically as a kid when he goes to school, he is told, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. What ends up happening is you are killing the drive inside of the child. You're giving the same message to women. So, subconsciously, what you're doing is you're making everyone the exact same way. You're making men the same way as women. And that will never end well in any relationship. Because now both parties have unrealistic expectations of the other, and that never works. And one of them is friends with benefits. Nobody talks about this in colleges or schools. Nobody teaches you this, but they will sure talk about relationships. Like you can be friends with this person. You can be friends with this. She can be your friend. He can be your friend. He doesn't have to be your boyfriend. But if you want, that is fine too. So the message that is delivered is you can be people's friends or partners. What they don't tell you is how you get there. You cannot expect to be a friend and then I'm your platonic friend for 5 years straight and then she'll date you. That's not gonna work. No, because you already are at that level. Here's the thing. What they don't tell you in school is this biological impulse. They don't tell you that a man's impulse is to procreate. That's just how men are. Because when a man, here's a very simple example. And back in the olden days, if a man has four wives and he impregnates them one at a time, we know when the child is born who the father is. Right? We know who the father is, who the mother is. When a man hooks up with sorry, when a woman hooks up with four men, do we know who the father is of the kid? No, we don't. Right? It's just wild guess. And yeah, modern science can fix this, sure, but this is still bad in the eyes of God. Right? God has made men women this way. So God intentionally gave men the ability to the desire to procreate more. That's why a man's sexual urge is usually higher than a woman's sexual urge. That's just how we are made, and we somehow frown upon this in disgust. You are only allowed sex with your girlfriend, with your wife, no one else. And it's completely okay for a woman to be a friend with a guy, and he should not even touch her. That's just disgusting. That's so bad. You have the biological urge. Go find a girlfriend. So you're telling this man to go find a girlfriend while encouraging the message of be a friend. Have you even taught him how to get in that status to get a girlfriend slash wife? No, because he now thinks that if I have friends with her for such a long time, I will eventually convert her into a girlfriend. But that is not how women are biologically. They don't teach you that, and that is why this is part of one and discuss. Just because of the societal message of everybody stay in peace and quiet. Everybody do this. Everybody do that. Everybody do this. Everybody do that. Is like ridiculous. This is what.
I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it's doing a major disservice to the potential to find the right type of person
Yeah.
for you. And also, it's just completely unrealistic, right? And then you have friendships that are fake because people have them with the intention of doing something else, or they're leading someone on or deceiving them, thinking that they're friends, but the other person has a completely different idea.
Mhm.
When in reality, you could have a nice middle ground in between on your way to dating. Because you could also, I imagine, because for me, with I want to keep working until I'm done with school and have all of this, and I have certain milestones that I imagine for my life before I make very serious life decisions, and I wouldn't want to just deny myself ever interacting with men because it's I can only be in a serious relationship or married or have friends. That middle ground is good for people if they're especially young adults in the process of finding out when they'll be ready to be in a relationship. You might still want to work on parts of yourself before you can offer yourself fully to someone like that.
Right. And I want to also briefly mention while we are on this topic that this friends with benefits thing, yeah, it's frowned upon and discussed, but it should be normalized, right? But and then when you are doing that, you also learn more about the female psyche, and the female learns about the male psyche, and then eventually, even if the FWB wants to transition to something good, they have the ability to. And so, but yeah, if you are just a friend, platonic friend, you will probably not get it. And right now, like this has been her experience, and I'll let her talk about this. That most women of her standard, you can clearly see she's at least a 9 out of 10, right? You can clearly see that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So most women of her standard prefer to be single, right? And most men in their 20s, they want something serious. Has that been your observation as well?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't know, because yeah, a lot of women that I know in my circles that they enjoy being single. Um, there are a very select few that have kind of found their person, and I'm really happy for them. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've noticed a lot of women are not really trying to settle down.
Yeah, and can you also mention this when the same thing you told me in the car that why is this happening?
Oh yeah, well I the thing is like, and I don't want any of this to come off as arrogant or cocky or anything, and it might sound that way, and if you think that, then
Then
you're free to have your opinion. But I think that, so I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone will like me, but I've never had a problem with having people be attracted to me. That's always been a thing. I know I can pull a man if I want. So there isn't this like feeling of scarcity, like I need to get into a relationship right now, or else I will never be able to again. It's not like, oh, there's one person that finally likes me. So because there is more of this, tendency to run into people that find me attractive, I don't really feel the need to. It's not like a once in a lifetime chance that I would find somebody. And so I think that, women who have, their youth and looks and things going for them, a lot of times don't feel a huge rush because it's possible to do down the line.
and what she said, I'm gonna drop a truth bomb on you guys right now. Here's the thing. So there are plenty of men in their 20s who are not at a high enough level, which is why I have seen this myself, mind you. I've seen men act pretending to be friends with women, and even when he's just a platonic friend to a woman, if she tells him no for some reason, he gets upset, as if she was his woman. That is how scarce men options are for most men in their 20s right now, which is why you see most men trying to lock down the first girl they date because they literally have no other option. And here's the thing, what society tells these men are the nice men, these men will be the good husbands, these men will be loyal. They are only loyal because they have one option. You cannot call that loyalty. If you only have one option and you are sticking with that option, is that really loyalty? If you must have at least 5 or 10 options and then you stick with one person, that is loyalty. So it is scarcity. And also the same holds true for women who are not as good looking as Hannah, who are like who like really are at a 4 or 5 level. You don't can't expect these women to also have the same attitude as Hannah does. You know that she will also have a scarcity in the market, the dating market, to attract potential mates. So women like them will be going for a serious relationship. Now here's what society tells you, that anybody, man or woman, who wants a serious relationship and not friends with benefits, they are the ideal person. Whereas somebody who actually wants some friends with benefit, they are disgusting, which we talked about just before this, right? And the truth is, this is based on scarcity. How scarce you are in the dating market, or how well established and well positioned you are in the dating market, as opposed to your options. If your options are at a higher level than you probably won't have options. If you are at a higher level than your options, then you have those options. So in a way, we are promoting people to not look after themselves, to not be well positioned in the market. So instead, we are promoting just being nice. Just being nice is not enough today. You have to, as men, you have to be at this elite level. So you have multiple options. And then if you are loyal, then I promise you, your woman will say loyalty because she knows you have option and you chose her. If she's the only option and you choose her, and then it breaks off, you feel upset because society told you that you were doing the right thing. You are awesome, and then eventually you cry and you move on, only to make the exact same mistake again. Bingo. So the only advice is from here, from to take away from all that, and you heard from the girl herself. This is just how it is today. Don't let society fool you, please. I beg you. Don't let them fool you into believing that being loyal when you have only one option is a good thing. No, that just means you have a lot more work to do. It means exactly that. So yeah, that's what I want to just mention. And moving on to the next one. And role, I just want to briefly mention the. I think I've talked about this like a lot now, but basically the role of a man in dating in society is just to chase status. Here's the thing: women are butterflies. Don't chase butterflies. Instead, build a garden. So the garden attracts the butterflies. Then you have this gain the ability to take care of your girl financially, completely and utterly. Any problem she has, you fix it for her. Anything she has, any issue she has, you fix it. She doesn't need to go anywhere else. Even if somebody robs her, she should be in that position to tell a random thug in the face, "Come, take my hand. That try and touch me. See if you're alive tomorrow." She should say that. She should have the ability to say that. And that just means that if you're not at that level, then you just have a lot of work to do. And remember this: everything you have right now is rented. I'm sure that most of you are living in an apartment, right? Which is you pay a monthly rent. Let's say you are in good physical shape, right? That is rented. That's because you probably work out a lot, you eat healthy food, right? If you stop doing that, you lose that, right? You lose that. So that is rented. If you are already in a relationship with somebody, that is also rented. You have to actively work on the relationship, which means mainly working on yourself and making sure your plus one is taken care of in all ways. If you stop doing that, it will end. Everything you have is rented. Even if you stop eating food, stop nurturing your body, eventually you will die. You stop drinking water, you will die eventually, right? Everything you have, every to the smallest particle of being of you, it's all rented. So never ever get complacent. You always have to work. 99% of your life must be working. 1% you can have fun, sure. But always make sure, remember this mindset. Everything you have is rented. And yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. The role of men is to chase status and not women, right? And do you want to talk anything about this particular aspect?
Not entirely, except I love that analogy of the butterflies in the garden. I think
Thank
it's
you.
very good. And it's true. And I think this applies to all aspects of life, really. Chasing after the thing that you want because you feel like you're lacking it, I feel like sort of repels the thing you're going for sometimes. So instead, you should cultivate the environment or the conditions to make it possible to achieve that thing. And this is true for not just other humans, but I feel like opportunities as well. If you're constantly chasing down an opportunity instead of doing the things that will set you up well to get that opportunity, um, then you're going to push things away by chasing them directly. You have to know what is necessary to achieve the thing and then work on that.
True.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you. I think your most of your past dating experience has been desperate men, right? You are their only option, so they love you, right? Stuff like
I
that.
don't know, maybe.
Okay, cool. So, I want to ask you, what do you think a high status man, somebody you might consider dating at some point, what do you think that man looks for in a woman?
Hmm. I feel like what would they look for in a woman?
Yes.
Support. I feel like that's one thing I always like to do is be very caring, empathetic, supportive. Um, and I've found across the board that men are very happy with that part of my personality. So I would say that seems pretty universal. But I don't know if it's particular to high status men. But I don't know.
Yes, for sure. I tell you. So all we need is three things: beautiful, feminine, and loyal. Here, because remember, for men it's all about status, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a woman is a status symbol, right? So a man would a man would love his woman indefinitely if this happens. This hypothetical scenario happens. Let's say he goes to a night out with his boys, with his like fellow male friends, and then other male friends are saying, "Oh, my girl is here, my girl is there, my girl is going to with her girls' night," and you are the man who proudly says, very proudly, "My girl is at home waiting for me to come back, and when I come back, she'll give me a warm hug and probably a coffee, and then just come by me and cuddle with me." That would that the man who's able to say that does have the best relationship of all of them. This is what a man was. His loyalty, her feminine essence, completely, not only, and obviously she must be beautiful because physical appearance does matter. Yes, so that as well. So this is what a man would love, like a woman to be there for him spiritually, with all her feminine essence, and loyal, and and also like to a degree subservient. You must have enough confidence in your man that he will always make a decision that is best for you and best for the relationship. That's what a high value man, or not just a high value man, any man would love to have that. But if a man doesn't have options, then he will just settle. He will compromise. But a true man who has infinite options will look for this. So this automatically rules out promiscuity because that's disgusting. That's revolting. This automatic, if somebody is promiscuous, they're not gonna like be these stay at home types that men really want. So a high status man will have infinite options, so he will probably go for somebody who's probably a virgin at that point. Yeah. So innocence in a woman is very important, is very like valuable. The less experienced the woman is, the better, because men want to be the portal through which they show his woman the whole world. Like, if I want you to sit in my car, my Mercedes, BMW, whatever, and you should be like, that's so cool, and the man loves that, loves to hear that. You take her to a good hotel. Oh, I love it. A man loves to hear that. That's what we want. We want to show the woman the whole world through us. And so, if a woman is like super experienced, has seen everything, that's probably not as attracted to a high value. That's what I'm gonna say.
That makes sense. No, it's just interesting to hear from a man's perspective.
Mhm.
A lot of these things, and then I'm just sort of sitting here thinking back on like conversations I've had or things that men have said to me in different contexts, and it's like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So yeah, I guess we covered every topic we wanted for today, and just to wrap this up, I would say that a man and a women are beautiful creatures. Women are amazing. They are amazing on the planet. They should be there on the planet because God designed them in such a way that biological instinct, imperative, and programming is in such a way that the reward goes to the highest value man, as it should be. Because the whole goal is to develop the planet Earth, right? We need to make sure we live our best lives possible. And the best spoils, the best rewards go to the high value man. And same way for a woman. For a woman, she gets to have the high value man. She also like gets good things out of him. She is not stuck with bombs. So as a man, please work hard to achieve that high level of financial freedom that you can support your girl and yourself, and gain a good fitness level so that you are proud to show yourself and your girl in public, and make sure you have the adequate social skills to talk to women, basically talk to anyone, have that necessary charm. And for women, like I just mentioned, this is the last topic we discussed, that traumatic experiences, like traumatic experience like losing your loved ones or something in the family, promiscuity, and being super experienced. These are deal breakers to high status men. So, but even so, you can still be a valuable asset to him as long as you can show him that you can still support him in every feminine aspect. So yeah, with that, I'm just gonna thank Hannah for joining me on this podcast. Thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank
joining
you.
me.
It was really interesting to talk about these topics with you.
Yeah, we really appreciate your feedback from a woman's perspective. And yeah, I just let you conclude this.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I think there are a lot of social ills that are affecting people in tons of different ways, and I know there are a lot of different attempts to figure out how do we, I don't know, gain some sort of connection with each other again in a way that feels meaningful. And there's a lot of just mindless consumption and just spiraling into this like dissociative behavior where you're just chasing one instant gratification after another. And that's just sort of how contemporary society is, unfortunately. So this was interesting to be part of, to see, one of the ways that people are trying to figure out like what is the essential feature of a successful relationship and what is a man's role or woman's role in that. Um, a lot of times I feel like these types of conversations are considered just wrong. You're not allowed to have them. Yep. Why are you talking about
money?
Yeah, oh, money, or yeah, you're not supposed to talk about that, or what people actually. Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. What people actually really want, when they say they want to be your friend, you're not allowed to talk about that either. So there are these things that are kind of like tiptoed around. People don't want to talk about them, and I feel like that only makes the situation worse. We need to be able to have these conversations very honestly and openly. And if you feel like someone's wrong or you disagree, you should just be able to say that, and it shouldn't be like shutting them down and not being able to move forward with the conversation. So, all that being said, yeah, it was really fascinating to hear more of your perspective on some of these things and getting I don't know, a peek into this corner of the internet and people's attempts to, yeah, make a more meaningful life for themselves. It's important stuff.
Lovely. All right then. Thanks for joining us again, and then I'll catch you guys in my next videos. Take care.